iPhone 11 Pro versus the OnePlus 8 Pro in terms of cameras. My quarantine walk photo comparison. We put the two phones side by side to see which can take the best photos in daylight and night. So I am mostly concerned about what these night shots are going to look like, but let's take a look. OnePlus has taken the wraps off its latest flagship, the OnePlus 8 Pro. Blah blah blah. I'm not really going to go into depth here. I really just want to see the pictures. So the OnePlus 8 Pro has a 48 megapixel main camera versus a 12 megapixel on the iPhone 11 Pro. Video, blah blah blah. I just want to look at the pictures, guys. That's really what I want to see. The coronavirus lockdown means it's tricky to get out and do my usual full suite of tests, but I found the odd moment while taking my daily walks to get some quick snaps for comparison. I'll expand on this just as soon as I'm able to spend some proper time outdoors. So this is the OnePlus 8 Pro, the standard lens. I mean, it looks good, right? It looks pretty sharp. And then the iPhone 11 Pro standard lens. I mean, they look very similar. God, I hate that I'm not able to just see them side by side. I really just wish I had both of these phones so I could test it out myself. I'm just zooming out, guys, just so I can give a better perspective. So I'm looking here already, and this looks a little more washed out than what's showing up on the iPhone 11 Pro, but it's not by a lot. But the brickwork here looks a little more detailed. As far as if you the things that I notice, are more of the main things and things that I can share with you guys too. I mean, the sky here looks a little more, deeper in color. But it's not a huge difference. Again, you see it's not as washed out, right? As what is showing on the OnePlus 8 Pro, but they look pretty good. They look pretty decent. He actually has commentary on it too. So in these first test shots taken in Edinburgh's beautiful Dean Village, there's not much to differentiate the photos taken from the phone's standard lenses. Both have natural looking colors and both have achieved even exposures. There's tons of detail on the brickwork on both images when zoomed in too. The iPhone photo might just have the edge for me though, as it's got a slightly richer blue sky and a touch more vibrance from the orange tones in the buildings on the left. I agree with that. I do. I like this deeper color on here on the buildings too than what I'm seeing here. Again, this looks a little more washed out, but otherwise the rest of it looks pretty good. The blue sky, whatever. I mean, for the most part, the skies look pretty even to me. Yes, a deeper here. You could even argue that this is a little dark, but for the most part, it looks good. It's a tiny difference though, and mostly comes down to personal preference. Yeah. So the wide lens for the OnePlus 8 Pro, and then the wide lens for the iPhone 11 Pro. Again, you see, I mean, yeah, they're pretty comparable. This patch of grass here looks a little more again washed out, but see, there's shadows here. These shadows aren't pronounced over here, and I don't know if it's just because it's taken at different times or if that's just how it's coming out. But yeah, these are more apparent. But yeah, pretty much very similar. Again, this brickwork looks a little better than what I'm seeing here, but it's not a crazy difference. There's a more noticeable color shift when using the wide angle lenses, while the iPhone 11 Pro shot maintains that rich blue sky. The OnePlus 8 Pro shot has warmed the scene a bit more, which has reduced some of the vibrancy in the sky. Again, it's not a big difference, and it might just come down to a shift in the white balance between taking the two photos. Fair enough. So this is the OnePlus 8 Pro wide lens up here on the top, and then the iPhone 11 Pro wide lens on the bottom. This has a much more contrasty shot, right? This is a little darker here. I mean, it even looks like maybe the contrast was turned up a bit, but this might be more natural. But again, very good, both shots. There's nothing to really complain about. Yeah, I mean, you do see this contrast seems a bit turned up. This may be looking a little bit more natural. But even when I edit my photos, to be honest with you, this is kind of what I do. And maybe that's what the user wants. But usually when I take a picture or a photo, I kind of want it to be as natural as possible, especially on a camera phone, and then I'll tweak it from there. But again, not much to complain about. The difference is much the same in this wide angle shot. The iPhone has captured a deeper blue in the sky as well as a richer tone on the bridge itself. I'm waiting for the night shots. I'm looking at these and it's like, okay, I've made this argument many times before. During the day with most shots, most of them come out great. And for most people, they're not printing out posters, they're not printing out billboards. They're using it to post on social media, and most people aren't going to even tell the difference. And it's hard for me to look at these because usually the way I do it is I will crop in, I'll zoom in, and then we can look at the finer detail. Here, I'm just kind of eyeing it and saying, yeah, this looks good, this looks okay. So again, these day shots are going to be comparable. They're not going to be crazy different. If anything, what I'm seeing here are the highlights are a little more, um, it's a little more washed out in, but and I don't mean to say washed out in a bad way. It's just, you can see here versus the whites here. It looks like it's a little more blown out, but it's not crazy, and it looks good for the most. Okay, I was gonna say what. That's not no, okay. That's not a real person. Okay. OnePlus 8 at 3 times zoom, 2 times zoom. Okay, I want to look at night shots. Um, yeah, these are really good shots. They're good photos and they're great. It's great. I'm happy to see this come out of the OnePlus 8 Pro. You're paying $900 for a phone, because OnePlus 8 didn't want to, or OnePlus didn't want to put the same optics in the OnePlus 8, which I will say I feel like is unfortunate. I was hoping that OnePlus was still going to put the same optics in the OnePlus 8 and then have the same optics in the OnePlus 8 Pro, except the OnePlus 8 Pro would have IP68 and wireless charging. So then that way, if you still wanted a good camera out of the OnePlus 8, then you can get it at $200 cheaper. But they decided not to do that because I don't know. I disagree with that. I wish OnePlus didn't do that. But yeah, these are great shots from what I'm seeing. Where, oh wow, this is okay. This is a much darker, deeper contrast shot versus this. I actually prefer this OnePlus 8 Pro one. I do like this a lot better. I like the richer colors in here. Kind of reminds me of what my Nexus 6P gave. But yeah, that's like the biggest difference one I've seen so far at day and night. Oh, here we go. It's difficult to pick a strong winner from these two. Oh, this is the day shot. So let me look at this before I read anything. Um, Oh my God. Yeah. Right away, look at this night shot here. And you'll see this is washed out right up here, right at the top compared to here. This is a much sharper shot. I know that I don't have it zoomed in, guys, but it's hard for me to go up and down to look at both. Um, as far as overexposure and stuff, though, the like all of this seems really good. But this, I mean, obviously the iPhone 11, and this is a night mode for both, right? This there's lens flare, there's a washed out kind of vibe that's going on here, and I can't zoom in so I can't see the rest of it, but this is a lot sharper. This is obviously the better shot. If he disagrees, then I would be crazy, but I'm pretty sure he's going to say the same thing. I mean, even the night sky, there's more dynamic range here than what I'm seeing up above. Turning to night mode now, and it's clear the iPhone 11 Pro has the edge here. Its shot is more crisp, it's brighter in the sky, and the OnePlus 8 Pro shot seems to be suffering from lens flare from a nearby streetlight, which spoils the shot, something the iPhone has avoided. So this OnePlus 8 Pro is not bad, but if again, for me, if the differentiator is night, low light, dim shots, I mean, I you're talking $900 versus $1,000 at this point. Um, yeah, it's a good night shot, but it's not topping out the iPhone 11 Pro just from this first shot alone. We'll see what the other. God, this is that's pretty bad right here already. OnePlus 8 Pro again in night mode, and then the iPhone 11 Pro. Yeah, so you see here it's washed out. There's lens flare over here, and it's not the clearest shot. I mean, there's obviously it's missing. It doesn't have enough light to really give a good shot. And I mean, see, I can't zoom in, so I can't really see how soft these shots are. But just looking at it like this, you could already tell that the iPhone 11 Pro is the better shot. That lens flare in night mode continues to be an issue here, right? With the OnePlus 8 Pro shot looking like there's a big orange patch in the left side of the image. Um, yeah, it's just overall, I'm impressed with how well the OnePlus 8 Pro performed in this test. I guess really the night mode is what gets me, particularly given its cheaper price tag by $100. I mean, to be fair, You want a perfect example? You could go buy an iPhone 11 right now, especially if camera was your main focus. Go ahead and buy an iPhone 11 and then retake these night shots. And what is the iPhone 11? $700 versus this $900 OnePlus 8 Pro. Right away, then you're going to have a better camera at night. And again, yeah, the camera isn't the only factor in buying a phone, but for a lot of people who want the best camera, who's good enough or who's happy to have good enough specs for everything else, like I'm gonna have to recommend the iPhone 11, especially if you want a better camera at night. Um, I mean, yeah, you're not gonna have the no, you have wide angle on the OnePlus or on the iPhone 11. You just don't have the telephoto. Again, yeah, this is a hard. I mean, for me, if camera is the most important thing for you, get the iPhone 11. Save the extra save the extra $300 instead of buying the iPhone 11 Pro. Save the extra $200 from getting a OnePlus 8 because you're not going to get better pictures than what you're getting here with the iPhone 11. Overall, I'm impressed. There's no other pictures. Oh, come on. There's so many pictures from day, and that's all I get for night. God damn it! I wish I had this phone just so I could test it myself. Um, Yeah, but I mean, even from those 2 shots alone, the iPhone 11 Pro is the better shot or is the better camera phone at night, at least going off of these 2. I wish I had more to look at, but, until I get the money to spend on, like a OnePlus 8 or a OnePlus 8 Pro to test it out, I would love to, but I would love to do the same with the Galaxy S20, but yeah. So let's see here. It says while it doesn't consistently provide the same rich colors as the iPhone, it still manages to take some great looking shots with spot on exposure. It takes a win when it comes to zoomability, but if you're particularly into your night mode images, the iPhone is still the way to go. At least he points it out that way. And at least he can conclude that with just 2 shots alone. I mean, really, um, it is a big difference. God, I wish there were more to go off of, but that's all I got. So maybe one day if I can afford the phone, I'd love to test it out.